This is my skirt. It's 6 years old and comes with a fair amount of history. I like to utilize things to their full potential and make my clothing last as long as possible. Things are more interesting when they have a story, and I'd rather self-sustain than glorify consumer culture anyway. It began its life as a pair of pants and gained longevity through constant mending and patching of its holes. It became a skirt after a few years of high school when the necessity called for modification due to my bad hygiene. The denim, originally, was purple, but over time became dark as the dye wore away. Patchwork is sewn with the more colorful thread, which is the oldest. The patch down to the right of the skirt zipper used to bear the title of an old classic crust punk band called Nausea. The red splotches dispersed, if I remember correctly, were from an attempt at making stencils with cereal boxes when I was 17 and experimenting with spray paint. The yellow splotches are acrylic paint. I have a hate-filled relationship with yellow paint as it maliciously finds its way onto all of my favorite things. The patch, sewn onto the back pocket that reads Groke, is one of my favorite memories. A band that calls themselves Groke that had shown up in Toronto needing a last-minute venue, and me and my roommate stepped up to the plate and organized a show for them in a basement. It was my first time organizing something like that, and I had a good time and learned a lot. Bits of the skirt, like the Crass logo and the rudimentary Peni patch, joined the material last spring when I was living in Montreal, in a big communal house inside of an old church. We had 15 plus roommates that were often fluctuating, and someone left behind a pair of their old pants. I took scissors to them and salvaged parts of them that I liked, and that had aged in a particularly lovely way. The patch above the front pocket here is the most recent addition. It says Gender Weird, and I sewed it on when I came out as trans and non-binary last winter. I like it because it debunks the notion of girls' clothing and boys' clothing, and it is more simply my clothing. Because fuck what binary notions of gender assigns to us anyway, right? Lastly, after a good run of wear, the denim has begun to fall apart. So I've been doing my best to sew it up where it falls apart. I like to use dental floss because it actually is a lot stronger than other types of thread. Now this skirt is pretty gross and it's also pretty dirty, but I think that there's value in that and plan on wearing it till it falls right off.